excited about the opportunity to be able to obviously get out there and try to get back on track this weekend. The thing about the game at Oklahoma, the locker room I thought was it wasn't positive by any stretch of the imagination, but it felt like they were eager. They were eager to get back. They were eager to get back to work. Sunday night we had a good practice. Today, the weights have been good today, and I think they're ready to get back out there and get to work and use this as an opportunity to get better on all three sides of the ball. Obviously, they're going to be put in that situation again. It may be this week, but obviously we're going to be put in that situation again to where we have a chance to go take the game, whether it's at home, whether it's on the road. We've got a lot of football ahead of us, and our guys are eager and excited about getting better to where when they get put in that situation, we're going to be able to capitalize on it and get a victory. So, just looking forward to getting back going. So with that, I'll take some questions, some specifics about Georgia State.
Dave, first of all, physical game injury report on how you came out of that.
Yeah, boy, it was physical. We told them all week it was going to be pretty physical. I mean, the injury report's big, but it's going to be that way every game that you play, more than likely. We knew it was going to be a physical game. We knew both teams were going to, run the ball a good bit. It's no surprise that we got banged up a little bit. KJ Dillon's got a little bit of a knee. He's day to day. Obviously Doug Riggs fine, but he's still a little foggy, but he's going to be fine. He's day to day. He'll be questionable. Haven't ruled anybody else out, however. So.
On the call yesterday, you mentioned that quarterback wasn't the only position you might be shaking up a little bit. Released the depth chart last night, and obviously receivers, a lot of movement there, and moving Pat to center. Can you talk about just the thought process behind those guys and why you put them where you did?
Well, yeah, I mean it's no different than quarterback. I mean, obviously quarterback's who everybody looks at from the beginning of the play until when he delivers the ball to whoever and however he does that. But we're going to be put in that situation again, and guys are going to be put in situations, and we're going to see how they react. The only way you can do that is by putting guys there. I think we're closer than it appears on offense. I accept full responsibility for 7 points. It's embarrassing. I don't care who we're playing. I mean, I got the utmost respect for Bob and Mike Stoops, but with that said, 7 points is embarrassing, and we need to fix it. We need to get guys that make plays. We need to do a better job of putting guys in position to make plays. There's potential on offense. That word disturbs me. I don't like it very much. But there is potential on offense. A lot of people talk about how talented we are. Even guys on our team talk about how talented we are. Well, prove it. Prove it. Make some plays when you're put in those situations. And if you don't, then we're going to try to put some other guys in those situations to make them. So I do think we'll get better offensively. I know we'll get better offensively. Yeah, Pat, the center thing. Pat's been playing. I mean, just really, really well. As good as I've seen him play. I mean, not even close as good as I've seen him play. He's one of the few real vocal leaders that we have on offense. He deserves to start. Been a team captain both weeks and deserves to start.
Is it, not to make light of it, is it difficult to find something good to say about Georgia State after watching through the
Yeah. They're a young program. I mean, they've been going for 7 years. Bill Curry started this thing up. They're transitioning into 1A. They have a great recruiting base. I don't know anything about their facilities or any of that stuff. Coach Miles it's his first year. He turned around Indiana State. He was there 4 or 5 years, something like that. Turned them around to where they were a pretty good FCS team. takes the Georgia State job in its 7th year of football and transitions them to the Sun Belt Conference. The CAA, which is what they were in, last year they didn't have a tremendous record last year, but they played a lot of those good teams. I've talked about the CAA to our team, and we know what they're all about with William and Mary and, what Townsend did and James Madison and all those guys. So they've played good football. And I do think that they'll continue to get better and better if Coach Miles did it at Indiana State. I would assume he can do it at Georgia State.
Dana, with regard to your receivers, Kevin and Mario were slowed a little bit. Carswell's kind of done something in both games. Is it a matter of them just kind of taking it a little bit and showing more than what the other guys have?
Yeah, they got some ability. They have potential, right? They have twitch. They have something that the other guys don't have. After watching William and Mary, I was quite convinced that we were the slowest receiving corps in the country. And when we put Ronnie in there, it looked different. So, didn't have Kevin's services throughout most of camp. He had a good spring. He was having a great camp. And then, boom, he's gone for 3 weeks. He showed a little bit of what he could do last week. I mean, he looked like he was playing at a different level than some of the other guys out there. Mario, we just got to keep repping him. I mean, that guy, he missed 3 weeks of camp. Didn't practice. I mean, when we put him in there, he runs at a different speed. So those 3 guys, it's simply, I'm not starting them based on hoping that they can make a play. I've seen those guys make plays. And if those other guys want to rep, then they need to prove that they can make a play, and they need to prove that they can play with a tremendous amount of effort.
How much does it help for you guys when you're still looking for the right fit? You're going to be trying different guys out. To be going against a Georgia State where maybe you can afford to give some guys on-the-job experience like that?
Well, I don't agree with that very much because all those guys have played in the games. Last week was a pretty good opponent. It was a pretty awesome atmosphere. It was a challenging situation for those guys, and I think we will learn from it. We were not intimidated. We played with tremendous effort. We competed hard. And some guys showed some signs of weakness. Some guys showed some signs of life, which obviously was good. So, they're all going to play. You can't just go into a game and expect to play 3 receivers. I mean, that's not going to happen. You're going to play a bunch of receivers. What we're trying to do is try to figure out who deserves how many reps. And then obviously at quarterback, you don't want to go into as many games as you can and try to play all 3 of them. You just got to put them in those situations and see how they react.
And how are you handling your quarterbacks this week? What are you doing with them?
I don't know yet. See how their attitude is in meetings at 2:30. We'll see how they look in warm-ups. Well, we can't go put 2 of them out there at once. So we got to call somebody's name, and they got to go out, and we got to see how they do. But the difference in where we're at now is Ford will rep, where he hasn't repped for the last 3 weeks.
Dan, a lot of your injuries have been to your linebacking core. You've been Shaq, Petaway, and Dozie. Are you perilously thin at those 4 positions?
Well, with injuries we are. Isaiah got nicked up. He's day-to-day. He should be fine. I mean, he's got a lot of game experience. Marvin Gross got a lot of game experience. He needs to continue to get better. Tyler Anderson gives us reps. Nick Witkowski had another really good game. Jared Barber gets reps. I mean, we got bodies. Brandon Golston got 2 sacks. I mean, he's going to get better and better. We're going to move Kinsey to the outside backer. I made that release yesterday just because, he can do some things off the edge. That's good. That's because of our lack of depth, losing Doug, we had to move Tyler back inside, which opened up a spot to put Kinsey there. Plus, Kyle Rose has emerged as a guy we feel like can be a starter. So I wouldn't view it as troublesome lack of depth. Anytime you lose guys to injuries, which I fully anticipate all those guys being back and ready to play, for the exception of Dozie. It's football. You got to play through some of that stuff.
Ran 45 times or 44 times in the season opener, just 24 times against Oklahoma. You said last week you wanted to find more balance, get more passing going. Was that overcompensating, or is there a balance in the middle you'd like to find, or do you have an ideal, I guess, number of runs you want to hit?
It all depends on what the defense does. Why did we run it so much more against William and Mary? Because there was, we had numbers to do so. Against Oklahoma, they had one more in the box than we did every single time we snapped the ball. So how much sense would it make to run the ball 45 times up and unblock people? Dreamus's one run was great, but he ran over two people. You're not going to just continuously run over people, So we had open guys. We had, our pass game was. This is going to sound silly. Our pass game was better schemed, and we had more open guys this year than we did last year. Stephen had a great game last year, but he made catches when the guy was right here in his hip pocket. We had more open guys, and we didn't do a very good job of hitting those open guys. We didn't do a very good job of catching them when we had opportunities to make plays. I thought the game was called good. I really do. I don't have any regrets on that.
That having been said, does that make you feel better or worse?
I feel like crap right now. But and again, it goes back, Dave, to offensively, we have the potential to be better than last year. Now, does that mean we're better than last year, or we're going to be better than last year? No. It just means that we got the potential to be.
Dana, along those lines, what the defense gives you, you ran a lot of screens, understandably, against them, and that didn't really work, I guess, to where you wanted. What was missing? How far was it?
We were
Look
close,
like?
man.
Huh?
We were close.
Yeah, a couple of them, right?
We were close. Well, my opinion on screens, if you get teams that are like charging, and they charged, they charged upfield, then you got a chance to hit screens on them. We threw the one to Kevin, and he got 10 yards. The one that Ivan missed, he may have scored. It's just the way it is. You're one block away. You're a split second away with timing. We ran screens. Wendell got loose on one. Charles almost got loose on one. We're close on a bunch of them.
Anything was just the time of the quarterback blockers just not getting there? Was there a common thing?
Something different on each one. It's and that's my response. That's me. That's coaching. It's my responsibility. We got to rep it. We got to continuously try to get guys in those positions to be able to make the plays. But we got to rep it, and we got to coach it. Those minor little details that we were missing on each and every one of them. We got to coach it better in order to get it accomplished.
Is it fair to say that Dreamius to get on the field more would have to block better?
Yes.
That
100%.
That's the holdup.
Yes. And he's on the field a good bit. He plays a lot. I know everybody's upset with 3 carries, and yeah, I want the ball in his hands more too. But we're rotating those guys to keep fresh bodies out there, and I rarely rotate them and call plays based on them being in the game. I just call plays because I have confidence in all those guys carrying the ball. If Dreamus gets out there and he whiffs like he did about 3 times, then he's coming out of the game, and he knows that. And he'll tell you what his grade is when it comes to blocking. The one run was spectacular. It was awesome. But you can't turn around and miss a block and get the quarterback hit and have a turnover. So you got to do the little things, and blocking is way more important than running people over.
What did Ball do well on Saturday night? Because that would be something to do.
Well, his communication was good. For the exception of the fourth quarter was bad. I don't know, just the heat of the game, the pressure of the game, the noise, the crowd, the communication between me and him, whatever it is. It wasn't good in the fourth quarter, but up until that point, it was okay. And his performance was just okay. It wasn't. I can't sit here and tell you that it was an awesome performance and he did everything we asked him to do. That would be a lie. The continuity between him and the receivers was just not there, and it needed to be there, and it wasn't.
How about the play of the offensive line?
Good. I'm happy with that. Shouldn't have said that. Should not have said that. I'm gonna retract that statement.
You're rotating guys a lot more in the past 2 years.
O-line?
Yeah.
Or in general?
Offensive line.
Yes.
Like Kindler, guys
Yes.
like that too.
Yes.
That doesn't always work. Is
Yeah,
it just because they're so evenly matched, or is it actually
Yeah.
it's working?
I'm happy with it. I like it. Ron's doing a great job at that. You know, we get Kindler in there. He gives, you know, Q a time to take a step back and take a breath and look at it. And then he does the same thing for fight on the right side. And then you got Pat that can play all three spots on the inside. And it allows one of those guys to come out and take a deep breath and just watch it from the sidelines, which I think is effective. If you can do it, then it's good. You know, it doesn't always work that way, but he's done it so much, and we've done it so much in practice. They're all comfortable with each other.
Conversely, though, if you're taking out your backup guard and starting him at center, how does that? Make
Well,
sense?
Tyler will be fine. There's nothing wrong with Tyler. You know, Tyler's a redshirt freshman. He's a little undersized. The guy he went against, the nose, that dude was a good player now, and he physically got outmanned a little bit. On one of those fumbles, he got lit up pretty good. He's not hurt, but he got lit up pretty good. He'll play. There's no question he'll play.
But who then goes to guard where because Pat can't move, right? So he'll play center then. Okay.
Yeah, he played center in the game zone this past week. He did.
Right, all three.
Yeah, he can. Yeah, he'll do. When Pat has no problem going from center to guard, and then we'll put Tyler back in at center, and I expect that to continue.
Dana, speaking of that, you moved Russell Houghton James out to tight end in this game. Is that a long-term plan, or was that just this game?
Yeah, you know, I mean, our plan was to run a few tight end sets, and we didn't want to go in with a two tight end set and not have a third option. You know, you have Cody Clay, you have Garrett Hope, and then if something would have happened to one of those guys, what's your alternative? So, you know, Russell was a backup guard. He's our eighth lineman, but you know, he's athletic enough to be able to handle that on the edge, and he did a decent job, and I would expect to see him back out there again.
Defensively, how positive was that for you guys, and how much can they take out of that game against Oklahoma?
Just played all right. You know, it was still just average. You know, if you look at our board over here, I was in here when Keith was explaining it to him. He said, we met some of these goals right here, but that one on the very end, we didn't meet that goal. You know, so what would it have taken for us to meet that last goal? Well, we would have had to have held them to 6 points. And as crazy as that sounds, I understand it's Oklahoma, and it's you know, they're a great program, great team, but the way I view it and the way I put it to our defensive guys is you know, you guys did a great job of your effort was tremendous, and you competed hard. You got 4 turnovers, but you were the second best defense on the field. You know, and I think that resonated throughout them. If you want to be a dominating defense, which we were not a dominating defense on Saturday, if you want to be a dominating defense, then you would have had to have held them to 6 points in order for us to win the game. It's all about winning the game. With that said, yeah, I'm happy with your progress. I've said that since camp. I think we're farther along defensively than at any point since I've been here. You know, and I think he's doing a great job with that. And he'll be the first one to tell you that we're far from where we can be defensively.